What is up, everybody? Welcome to IML TV London session. How's everybody doing? Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Can you guys hear me pretty clear, or is it not that clear? Is it pretty quiet? I said my voice is quiet because I'm pretty loud. Awesome. So yeah, for everybody that's on here, I want to give you guys a quick brief on how to utilize these sessions properly, especially for all the new people. So if we could be patient for a second, so I could brief the new people. Mike Miles, what's up, Mike Miles? Tell Mike Miles I said hi and I love him and I miss him. But I want to give you guys a brief because I know there's a bunch of new people that comes on here, and it might seem complicated at times and it might seem overwhelming. But the truth is that we have a system that's in place that you could actually go through that's going to help you actually go through the motions behind everything so that way you're not lost. Okay, if you come onto these sessions on, London sessions, it's pretty much the trade setup. So we recap what happens. We also look at what's going to happen or what we're going to expect to happen, or not really expect, what we're waiting to see is going to happen so that way we could respond to the situation. Okay, so before we get started on that, before you even get into the whole trading aspect, we really have to understand the basics behind everything in order for us to really grow and to excel in this whole thing. So in order for that to happen, you have to make sure that you're going through IMO Academy Basics 1 through 4 and the technical analysis aspect. Because if you go through Basics 1 through 4, you know everything from the history of Forex to the different currency pairs, the different types of sessions, etc. Now, once you go through technical analysis, is where I kind of break everything down from how to analyze the charts, the confirmations to go on. So here's the thing. I want to give a quick brief. If anybody asks any questions about what are the confirmations, any questions about what's your stop loss and your take profit, or what are you looking for a trade, etc., that means that you didn't go through the technical analysis portion. And the reason why I want this to be more systematical and people coming on here and having it organized is imagine it flowing. Imagine a scenario for yourself. You coming in, you go through IMO Academy Basics Technical Analysis. It's less than 2 hours long. Okay. Sundays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern is the basics. So I teach you guys the basics of the psychological aspects, and I also teach the technicals behind everything. And then when you come onto these sessions on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 2 a.m. Eastern, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 11 p.m. Pacific, is going to be the trade setups. Is everybody clear with me on that? And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's going to be some questions that people are going to ask, but those questions could already been solved if we already went through those prerequisites in the first place. Make sense? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just want a smooth transition because before I used to be that type that used to just let things go for the way that way they were. Recommend putting pending orders or only to the market. Only do market execution. I don't like pending orders because think about it for a second. You do a pending order, you're leaving it up to chance. Like, yes, of course, you could take all your confirmations and everything, but by watching it and seeing how price reacts at that certain point could be the difference maker of you even executing in the first place or not executing at all. So if you see something happening, you're waiting for a retest, but the retest doesn't happen, you don't enter. But if you're sleeping and then you had a sell limit for that place, it would have activated your sell limit and continued going up. Does that make sense on the reason why I do market execution? I'm here. Everybody can hear me for the person that's asking where's the tutor. But does everybody understand that for the market execution aspect? Yeah, because I've been hurt before when it came to the buy limits and the sell limits, because obviously I wanted to be slick and be ahead of everybody, but at the same time, it actually ended up hurting me. And the reason being is because if I just saw it, if I watched it, and I saw how price is reacting to that point, then I would have never entered in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. All right, now let's go through this whole thing real quick, okay? Um, let's go through this in detail. Delete everything. I always like starting out with clear charts. Yes, we're looking for something here, but price didn't happen the way we wanted it to. Even right here, if we entered, guess what? Here's the power of twin trading. Say, for instance, that you were in the entry for this point, right? And you're watching this. You still would have had a stop profit in place. You would have collected your 30 pips, had a stop profit, and if it hit your stop profit, you didn't risk anything in your account. Does that make sense? So because of that, it's like you still would have profited with that. And that's the reason why I do twin trading, because it allows me to capture those pips or set those stop profits in place. It allows me to capture those pips, but also be able to be on a long-term market, if that makes sense. Okay, so now what I like to do is I like to recap why did things happen the way that it did in order for us to understand more. So I like to delete everything. Look at that. Just, that was such a beautiful trade. I'm going to break this down real quick so that way you guys can see the simplicity and how history repeats itself time and time again. How can I know how many time wait for? I don't know. You won't be able to know the time. You know, that's the thing about trading. If we all knew the times, we'd all be millionaires. Sometimes it might happen when the market opens, just like this. Look, market opened and dropped. You know, so it's like you have to be able to just adapt to it. There's no certain time frame or anything. It's just like wait for the confirmations to happen and then you enter. And if you miss it, it's because you weren't looking at the charts. And that's the reason why you find a way to where you could be looking at the charts consistently by drawing it up and getting it all ready and then having it on your cell phone. So that way, whenever you're at, you could always just wait for those trade steps to happen in place. That makes sense. Is everybody having a blurry screen? No, my volume is pretty much up. I wonder why it's blurry. Does everybody have a blurry screen or is it clear? Okay, cool. So what I did was I broke this down into pieces here. As you can see, simple concept. Break of a floor, ceiling, break of a floor, ceiling, break of a floor, ceiling, then break of a floor. Now I'm waiting for it to come to this point. Now, yes, it could break above, obviously, and create a new directional trend. But at the same time, what I'd want is for this to do a shift in momentum and to break this area before I would test for me to enter for a buy. Okay? Now, by utilizing fib levels, obviously I'm able to see. So even if I just took this fib level and went from to this top area of resistance, I look closely. I said, okay, there's a 50 there, a little bit of 61.8. If I go from this area right here and I look closely and I see it align with the 61.8. Okay, so now that I see that, I was like, this is an area that I'm gonna be watching out for. yeah, this is the area that I'm going to be watching out for. If I want to cross verify, I could go from this bottom level of support, go up a little bit, see if there's anything that matches with that. Let's see. So in the areas, 78.6 a little bit. So if even from this bottom to this top, 78.6 is there in this area. So what I'll do is just put an area right here. It just gives me more of that second validation if I saw a price hit and it continues, so it could give me a second entry, okay? So this is what I'm looking for pretty much. I'm looking to see what's going to happen when price comes up and moves to this area, okay? What happens if price moves to this area? That's what I'm looking for. And the reason being is I don't care what's happening here right now unless it breaks this level of support. But that's what I'm looking for, because this area of support is the area that it broke, and then I'm waiting for that retest to confirm that it's going in this trend. If not, we're going to be up in the air of everything, if that makes sense. So this is what I'm looking for. Now the only time that I would buy is that I see price today shift in momentum, broke this high area of resistance, and came and retested it as support. Okay. Does everybody understand that simple concept? I showed you the example of breaking a floor, ceiling, breaking of a floor, ceiling, breaking of a floor, ceiling, breaking of a floor, waiting for it to do the same thing, become a ceiling. So what I did was, I drew a zone there within that area. I drew this area of Fibonacci from this area of support, this area of resistance, just to see, and 61.8 was perfectly there. And I drew this area of support to this higher resistance just to see, and 78.6 is actually right here. So if I see price hit, or retest, start moving down, then I enter, and if I close underneath here, then I enter again. Pretty much gives me confirmations of what's going on. What confirmations would you wait for to tell you that it's keep going up? It keeps going up. That's it. That's the only other confirmation. It kept going up, broke this area, test support, and there's a confirmation that it was going up. But pretty simple stuff. Why I skip the first resistance? No, this is the resistance that I wanted to do, what I wanted to break. It gives me confirmation that it's shifting in the trend. This is what I'm looking for. Everybody understand? No, the video is still going. Why wouldn't you buy in breaks and retest the first area? Because I just don't. This is how I trade. This is what I look for. This is how we caught this whole downtrend. So if that's how you trade, then you can trade like that, then that's perfectly fine. But I'm letting you know exactly my trade setups and who here likes my trade setups and the way of this technique. I don't force trades to happen. I don't feel obligated to trade because I'm looking at charts. What I'm doing is I'm waiting for my stuff to hit. I'm waiting for it to hit into the trap and to be able to go along with the trend that's going in the first place in order for me to capitalize on it. Because think about how many people are buying, and it just kept going down. Does everybody understand that? Everything that I showed you guys here is everything I look for a trade setup. That's it. I don't place a stop. This is where I do market execution. The biggest mistake that rookies make when drawing resistance and support is practicing drawing it. What I do is I do this. To show that the areas of resistance or support that's relevant, if I see price break, you see these little crosshairs right here? So with the crosshairs, if I see it break a certain level, where's the closest support level that it broke? That one. Then I just draw that support. Does that make sense? So if I saw it break this area right here, boom, broke, this is the nearest level of support that it came up, tested perfectly, dropped. When I saw it coming down here, I looked to my left, where's the nearest area of support that it broke? Right here, and boom, test. No, don't use the strategy of I risk everything. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Proper risk management. Proper risk management until you start having profits, then you can do whatever you want. But in the beginning, use proper risk management. If not, you're just gonna blow accounts and you're gonna make regrets. You want to make regrets. You want to trade it for however long. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to trade and be consistent with it. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, it's like if, why would we try to risk everything if we don't even know what we're doing in the first place? If you're not having profitable trades on a consistent basis, why would we try to, over leverage our account? I don't do any sell limits or any buy limits. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Where can we put our stop loss? How much do you want to risk in your account? Your stop loss is dependent on you, not dependent on me. If you want to risk 10 to 20% of your account, then do it. If you want to risk 30 to 50%, it's up to you. I can't tell you exactly what your safety net is for your stop loss. It has to be depending on how much you want to risk in your account. GPJPY. All right, UJ, simple, same concept. How to decide of these two entries? I press buy twice or I press sell twice. That's it. Okay. Yes, I enter once it starts closing underneath the fib level. Alright, so look closely. Look, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. So why did I draw this support level here? Because this is the area that it broke. That's where I'm waiting to see for the retest. But what happens if it doesn't go up there? Then it doesn't go up there. That's fine. I didn't risk any money in my account. What I'm doing is I'm showing my high probability trade sets based off past printing of candles to dictate everything. Yeah, you wait. You can wait 2 days. You can wait 3 days. It's not. Here's the misconception every single person has. It's called a trade setup. It's not called I'm going to come to the charts and make money right now because the market's open. That's called being a greedy trader. That's called being someone who's just money hungry. That's called someone who doesn't understand the art of Forex and really realizing of why do some people make the big money and why do some people keep losing or making small money. Because the people that make small money or lose are the ones that keep doing the same things. The ones that are making the big money are the ones that understand the concept of the Forex is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. So look at this. Even when it broke here, it took 1, pretty much 1 day for that to happen. Here, it took one day for that to happen, 1 day for that to happen. Here, it could take could take pretty much 2 days to happen. It all depends. It all depends on when it does. Okay. So now, here's an easy trade setup for this. I look at support, test it out with this resistance level. 23.6 is there. I go up here. I see that the 50 is up there. I go up to this top part. 50 is there. I go up here, 61.8, and if I go all the way from the top, since this is a strong level of this support to this resistance, and this is the entire movement, you risk however much you want to risk in your account. Okay? No more like the questions about how much you want to risk in your account, your stop loss, this is up to you guys. I'm just giving you guys the technicals behind everything. I can't tell you guys exactly what to do when it comes to like the exact leverage and all that type of stuff. That's your brokerage account. So if you see this from this point to this point, 61.8 is the closest area from that level to this level. So this is the area that I'm watching for. Same exact concept. Now if it continues going up, then I wait for it to break the area of resistance, test the support, and then that's it. I don't really like placing trades on the last day of the market, to be honest. What do you consider to not enter at the level 61.8? So you're saying once kind of closes, then you're going for a sell. Why not retest on 61.8? That's what I said. Retest on, why buy? Okay, guys, you guys understand trend trading. Why are we going to go against the path of least resistance? Why is everyone trying to look for a reversal? Why is everyone trying to look for that little pip count that you could get, getting that little tiny, retracement? Why not get the bigger moves? The whole point of these sessions here is to give you guys the biggest pieces of markets. If you guys want the big pieces of the market, then you can take the big pieces of the market. You guys want the small stuff, then you want the small stuff. If you have a certain way that you're doing it that you like yourself and you're having exponential growth in it and you're able to flip more than I've been able to flip, then fine, do that 100%. But what I'm trying to teach you guys is how many times did we look for reversals and it continued going along with the trend that I was going in the first place? How many times have you got messed up looking for a reversal? Oh, look, it's going up so much, it has to drop, and you end up selling it and continues going up. How many times you saw it dropping, like, oh, it has to stop and go up, and it continues dropping in the first place? How many times does that have to happen in order for people to realize that there has to be a different way to be able to capitalize on that in the first place? How many people do you think have been buying on GJ and USD JPY? Guys, I'm going to give you the UJ screenshot. I'm just asking. Can we try something for this, like, for these sessions from now on? Can everybody practice patience? People are so eager to control things and everything and to add things even though it's really simple. If we could practice patience, then you'll be able to, profit in the markets a lot. Okay? If you see the simplicity behind this trading style, but for some reason you just want to add more onto it, cluttered space, cluttered mind. I'm telling you right now. What are you looking for? If we're looking for of what happened in the past, even for the past couple of days, even showed validation on how simple this, even without the Fibonacci, break, retest, break, retest. So it's like even showing that how we could catch all these moves, people tend to still wonder why. They want to know other things. It doesn't make any sense to me. So why do you draw a fib in the opposite way the Academy does? Because it works for me. So if you think that drawing fibs is the right way for you, how much have you made from it? That's why I get really confused. I don't use EMA. I don't use stochastics. I don't use RSIs. I don't use any other indicators. Guys, this is getting really frustrating because I made it my key mission to simplify everything for everybody. But it's like people want to add more onto it to make it more complicated. It's weird. It's really weird to me. Makes no sense. It really confuses me, honestly. Because even when I'm learning something, why would I want the complicated version of things? Imagine that. Imagine the complicated version of learning everything. You're about to take a calculus test. You're like, can you give me the advanced version of calculus test? Because I want to make it more complicated so that way I could be able to take a harder test. So I could increase my chances of failing. Makes no sense to me. All right, cool. I'm going to give you guys a link to this, and then we're going to leave it off of this. I wanted to come on to the session. I'm going to give you guys as much as I can. And today, a lot of personal stuff just happened that actually kind of destroyed me mentally. So I'm going to give you guys these two charts, and also two as well, just for a tip of the day for everybody that comes on here from now on. Patience, and stop adding on to the things that I'm teaching. If that's the case, then I'll have you be the IMA educator. All right. Yeah, and a little sense of vulnerability aspect. Yeah, I apologize, obviously, but at the same time, I don't apologize for also answering the questions in the way that's just like keeping everything simplified. I'm just trying to help everybody out in a positive way, you know? And the thing is, it's like me critiquing someone that's like an expert in their aspect, and it's just like, is that what people do when they go to like different classes and stuff? They just start critiquing the professor? Or they start critiquing like the person that's training you. Like imagine that, training for like physique fitness or bodybuilding, and everything that he tells you or she tells you to do, you're just like, well, what about this? Well, what about that? You know, I just want it to be a smooth process for everything. So here's the two charts and everything. And yeah, so it's not even the fact they didn't stop it. I was really planning to end this a little bit early anyways. because like I said, I really had some really personal issues that just happened right after I went to church, and kind of lost myself for a second, you know. So I'm trying to get, you know, on a positive note, and I try to come on here and give you guys these trade setups. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next training session.